Hello, my name is Glenn MacArthur. Welcome to Absolute Truth, the blog. Um, we are going to discuss here the birth of UFOs. We're going to discuss the cover-ups and that were made, and we're going to discuss the advancements that were made, including Operation Paperclip. Okay, in 1946, a man flying back from Tacoma saw what he thought was flying saucers. He described it as flying like flying saucers across the lake, being skimmed across the lake. And what he actually saw was the Northrop Grumman flying bomber, followed by the Horton 10, followed by the Horton 229, followed by the several other tailless fighters. He even described one fighter very descriptively, and it is, and you will see it at the end of this blog. Basically, it is a fighter that was designed by Gotra. Now the Horton brothers, they created. Dr. List was the first one with the ME-163 flying jet fighter, and then the Horton brothers, who is who is a student of Dr. List, created the Horton 229 and the Horton 10, which you will see at the end. You'll see pictures of them at the end of this blog. Now, the fact of the matter is that you'll probably remember the Gotra. The Gotra was basically a design bureau, similar to like what Pinafore is to Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati. They basically set down designs and they do their math, and then they turn it over to the brothers or to whoever to build it. And you probably remember one of them was in the movie Indiana Jones, the temple. I mean the Ark of the Covenant. Yes, that was the one with the twin engines, and they were fighting, and one guy got sliced and diced by the engine. Okay, to make and who almost got Miss Ravenwood killed in it. Yeah, that one. Okay, then you saw then you heard the description from this dentist that there was a one that looked like a parasol, and it scalloped out. Well, that one was called the parasol by the Horton brothers, and you'll see it and others at the end of this blog. Anyway, they were all these stuff was brought back from the several design bureaus, from the factories, from whatever, and it was actually built. It was put on and built, and then they went ahead and they actually flew them. And they even made a report, a cover-up report, to sort of downgrade their importance. Can you imagine that? Having a stealth fighter back in the time before North Korea, the North Korean War, and having to shut it down because of what? The afraid that that they're going to find that the Russians are going to find out about it. Well, anyway, I have a copy of the report. It's put up by the Aero Command. Well, I have a copy of the report, and it said that these planes were very unstable, they couldn't fly very well, and they were hard to maintain. Well, wrong, because Boeing has just made a drone out of one called the Dark Star. I mean, and we have them now flying off of Navy ships, and hopefully one day I get to fly mine, which I hope to build once I get finished designing, back engineering and redesigning it. Anyway, to make a long story short, that was the reason was they didn't want to they didn't want the Russians to get the information, so they basically went ahead and said, "Flying saucers, great! You gave us a way to cover it up." So we literally shot ourselves in the foot, saying UFOs. Okay, that's not to say there are not UFOs. Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, there are UFOs. Just ask Bob Lazar. He worked there, Area 51, Papoose Lake. He saw the interaction between Paul and the 3-star general. Hello? I mean, come on. It's not rocket science. Look, it all goes back to one thing. In 1961, before Von Doniget's Chariots of the Gods, before any of them, Operation Blue Book was churning down. We pretty much closed out Operation Paperclip, okay? And everyone was pretty much fat, dumb, and happy. There wasn't any big UFO scares, any of that stuff, except when that engine went kapooey in the Kecksburg Forest and got dragged back to the base off of Montauk. No, what basically happened here is this: is that there was a guy, a man who was sober. I mean, who was you could trust him. Matter of fact, we did trust him throughout 2 wars. His name was Lowell Thomas. He was a correspondent right up there with Edward R. Murrow. This guy, he created he was really into travel blogs. So before National Geographic, he created a movie called 8 Wonders of the World. It was shown in the Cooper's wraparound cinema, 3D cinema, before there was a 3D. Anyway, he went ahead and and it was there. It was scheduled to be there for, 3 or 4 months. Well, it came out. And the scariest part of it is that there were 2 things in that movie that just didn't jive. 2 things that have to have you thinking, what the hell's going on? And that is the sleeping giant of the Simon Archipelago, wherever the heck that is, somewhere near Papua New Guinea, and it's a 200-foot basalt giant done up in volcanic glass. You remember that crystal skull everyone was gogged about? Picture a 200-foot piece of artwork that big. And the only people who lived there were headhunters. It had me scratching my head. Oh, are you kidding me? There was a civilization before this? I mean, I had what? Yeah, it was that jaw-dropping. Then the next thing he does, he goes up into Tibet. He goes up there to the one of the high lamaseries to talk with the monks up there. They show him the Book of Tao, made up of metal plates, metal pages. Now that's pretty good for a bunch of drugged up monks who live on the top of a mountain to be checking out this book. He took pictures of the pages, sent them off to UCLA. It took them a whole year to decode it. And when they decoded it, they said, what in the hell? You're showing us stuff that NASA needs to know about outer space. Celestial mechanics. I mean, there was like a whole handful of people throughout the whole country who knew anything about celestial mechanics. And here, these monks have had this for how many centuries? Now it's getting thick. Well, guess what? 2 weeks after that movie came out, it got pulled. No one could answer me. When I went and asked, where's the movie? How come it ain't here anymore? Gone. Bye. That's all they said. Okay. Most of America had seen this thing now, and they were scratching their heads. Van Daniget comes out, and this is let me tell you now, this is a time frame when we had Sugarfoot, Cheyenne, the Big Valley, and Wagon Train, and all this other Western stuff. Within 1 year, it changed. Within a year, it changed. We went from living in the past, now we're living in the future. We got Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, One Step Beyond, all kinds of secondaries, and on top of that, 65 Star Trek. The world is shifting monumentally, okay, psychologically. And it was all because of Lowell Thomas. Then all of a sudden, here comes Van Daniget and his Chariots of the Gods. Woo! Reality goes right out the window now. Everything we knew is being changed, and it's going the wild way. It's gone. Okay, so I'm sitting here with a grain of salt and going, okay, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. It's cool with me. So I call that Operation Blue Book. I know Operation Green Book. You've had Operation Blue Book, the denial of everything. Now Operation Green Book, the assimilation of everything. So the cover up, I guess they got caught with their pants down. MG12 is not going, where do we fit in this? Men in Black, no, not anymore. We're gone. You know, they may once in a while come by and deliver a piece of artifact to like GE, because when I was at GE Astro Division, they actually brought by an artifact and I had to back engineer it. And now they got this other company out there in Nevada who specializes in that stuff. But in 1984, I worked on the B-52 rear gun, the Gatling gun, and it was supposed to be the ASG-21, the brand new ASG-21 radar system, track and shoot down enemy aircraft or missiles coming at us. It was really great, but it had one huge problem. The engineer was a drunk, and I had to take over as a designer. That was very hard for me to do. Our requirements jumped unbelievably. We were in DTL, which is diode technology, logic technology, to TTL, transistor logic technology, to MTL, monolith technology, all the way up to PTL. It was like throw out that board, bring in a new one. We got to clean it off. We got to redo the whole enchilada. I finally got the damn thing up and running and out the door, and I was very happy about that. And it just blew me away. But when I was at GE Astro Division, they came in and they basically said, "We want you to build this thing. We want you to back engineer this thing." I said, "Okay, what is it?" And they said, "We can't tell you." But a lot of the big boys, MIT and all these others, they said, "You're going to have to wait for the new computers." I mean, come on, 8 decimal places off a computer. Most computers can only do 2 decimal places. You want 8? Are you kidding me? Well, maybe I didn't get any messages from the great beyond or from the UFO guys and jumping in, coming in, reprogramming me. So what basically happened was I remembered a little thing that I learned in high school about geometry, that you could always trick computer do what you want by simply feeding it the right question, as I said in Star Trek. So it bounced with me on this. And all of a sudden I'm saying to myself, so that's what pi is for. So I fed pi 8 decimal places, 8 decimal places for the radius, fed into areas equal to pi r squared. Boom! I created the perfect circle. And it was so perfect that I could actually make circles off of it. And I could follow the track and change, and I could put in 4 points and create a solid out of it. And then when I got it all the way back and done, it came out absolutely perfect. Now that's genius. I don't know what anyone else calls it, but I call it genius because it's thinking out of the box. Something that these other people don't seem to have the will or the knowledge to do. So there you go. That's where all this technology is going, and that's where all the stuff is going. We're getting closer and closer to a reality that UFOs exist, and that Paul is probably walking and talking among us right now. So I say whatever. Why should I care about little gray guys? I think they basically are monitoring us, and they want to check us out and make sure we're not having anything that they can't fix or figure, because they want to create hybrids, but they don't know how. They don't know if we're up to it, and I think that's why they're bagging and tagging us. The hybrids are going to be the children that'll come, the next evolution of human being. I mean, I'm only drawing the line between the points. I'm only trying to figure out why they're doing this or that, abductions and the whole bit. But it makes the most sense that they want to create a better human quiet and a better human population than what we have now. So that's all I have to say about this. Glenn MacArthur, Absolute Truth, over and out. Bye.